Hello everyone, I am Dr. Haoyu Chen from Joint Shantou International Eye Center of Shantou University and the Chinese University of Hong Kong. Today's topic is anatomy of the eye. We have only one learning objective today. You are expected to describe the important structures of the eyeball after this class. Firstly, what's the eye? Is this the eye? The answer is no. This is only an eyeball, a part of the eye. The eye includes the eyeball, conjunctiva, tetanus capsule, orbit, eyelid, extraocular muscle, lacrimal system, visual pathway, blood and nerve supply to the eye. But of course, the eyeball is the most important structure. The eyeball has two parts, the wall and the contents. For the wall, there are three layers. The outer layer includes the cornea and the sclera. This layer provides mechanical support for the eyeball. The middle layer is the uvea tract. From anterior to posterior, we have iris, ciliary body, and choroid. The middle layer is rich of blood vessels and pigment. The third and the innermost layer, the retina, is responsible for light perception and only found at the posterior part of the eyeball. Now we move on to the contents. There are also three. From anterior to posterior, there are aqueous humor, lens, and vitreous. We will talk about this structure one by one. Firstly, the cornea, located at the outermost layer of the eyeball. The cornea is thinner at the center and thicker at the periphery. The central retinal thickness is about 0.5 millimeter, and the diameter of the cornea is about 11 millimeter. Fine tissue layers make up the cornea. They are epithelium, Bowman's layer, stroma, descent membrane, and endothelium. Cornea is transparent, which allows the passage of light into the eyeball. To stay transparent, the cornea must be dry. If there is too much water, it will become edematous and lose transparency. The endothelium can pump water out of the cornea and is critical in keeping it dry. Another important function of the cornea is refraction. Cornea contributes to more than 80% of the refraction of the eye. Uvea tract is the middle layer of the eyeball. It is full of vessels and pigment. It contributes to the color of the eye. It may be black, brown, blue, or gray. There are three parts in the uvea tract. Iris locates at the front and controls the pupil size. Ciliary body at the middle secretes aqueous humor. The choroid at the back provides blood supply to the outer part of the retina. Retina is the innermost layer of the eyeball. It is where the visual signals are transformed into neural signals. There are two layers in the retina, neural retina and the retinal pigment epithelium. Here we have three layers of neurons and three layers of connecting fibers. This is a photo of the retina. These are blood vessels. This is the optic nerve with the nerve fiber leaving the eyeball and going into the brain. We can see that the color is brown. The neural retina is transparent, so the color is from retinal pigment, epithelium, and choroid. Now let's move on to the structure inside the eyeball, the aqueous, lens, and vitreous. Aqueous humors fill the anterior and posterior chambers. It is the space between the cornea and the lens. Aqueous is secreted by the ciliary body process to the posterior chamber, then pass through the pupils to the anterior chamber. Finally, it is absorbed at the trabecular mesh wall at the anterior chamber angle. The balance of secretion and absorption is very important. The amount of aqueous humor determines the intraocular pressure. Therefore, if there is reduced absorption of aqueous humor, the intraocular pressure will increase. If there is reduced secretion or increased absorption, the intraocular pressure will decrease. The second internal component of eyeball is the lens. There is a capsule at the outside. Inside, we have epithelium, cortex, and nucleus. There are also granules connecting the lens to the ciliary body. The function of the lens is accommodation, which means that we can see both near and far objects. That's because the lens can change its shape and refractive power. The biggest structure in the eyeball is the vitreous. The vitreous is like gel, and its major component is water. There are also collagen and hyaluronic acid. The vitreous provides mechanical support for the retina. Let's go back to review the anatomy of the eyeball. It consists of the wall and the contents. There are 3 layers in the wall. The outer layer is cornea and sclera. The middle layer is uvea, including iris, ciliary body, and choroid. And the inner layer is retina. There are also 3 structures inside the eyeball. From anterior to posterior, they are aqueous humor, lens, and vitreous. Finally, I would like to ask you to do an exercise. Close your textbook, draw a diagram of the eyeball, and write the name of each structure. Here are the references. Thank you for joining.